Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Go like this if you can hear me. Oh my gosh, Zoom is so hard. Um, if you're willing to turn your cameras on, assuming you're not laying down in bed because it's 5 o'clock in the morning where you are, I would appreciate it because otherwise I'm just teaching to myself and I know the material already. So then it's a little boring for me. Good morning, Cherry. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming. So I'm Rebecca, but you can call me Ruby. I spend most of my time now in India and Nepal, and they cannot say Rebecca to save their life. They call me Rubika. So now I'm Ruby. Uh, I have a tendency to speak very fast and use weird American slang. So translators just interrupt me, say slow down, say I have no idea what that weird idiom means, and I'll try to speak uh, less American. So Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life, part one. It's a 3-part series. And I did this course, I'm embarrassed to tell you. I did this course in 2000, which is, I did it almost exactly 26, oh God, almost exactly 26 years ago. I was in South India traveling by myself, and I had a lot of time, and I was very, very young. I will slow down. I was maybe 22 years old when I did this course, and I can say it, well, I can't say, but I think looking back now, 26 years, having taken this course when I was so young, I think it really set me on a path for one, as a good Buddhist, but two, just as how to be a person in our world. We're not necessarily taught like how to person, like when you go to someone's house, you wash your dishes. It's just common sense. You go to someone's house and you make a mess, you should clean it up. Basic things like that, that we're all nodding, but I'm gonna assume more than half of us don't do that. Um, so this book really, it's an instruction manual for how to be a decent human being, okay? And it's an instruction manual for the end goal, how to become a person who can help all beings, including yourself. And I remember I was like 21. I was still at university when I first met Geshe Michael and met the Dharma. And I was always like a little depressed when I was younger because I felt this big weight on my shoulders. Like when I saw other people suffering, that I wanted to take that suffering. And everyone in my life was like, Rebecca, just chill. That's not your job. But this book says it is your job. And it's also your job to be happy yourself. Okay. The book doesn't say that you should torture yourself to save others. The book says you should save others from their problems. And by doing so, you save yourself from your problems. And it was such a huge relief to me to realize that I was right all along and all those people were wrong. And probably if you're in this class, then you have that same sense yourself, that when you see someone suffering, you want to help them. So this book, it also, well, the book is a real wake-up call. Okay. So I can see some of your faces. I can't see all your faces. Some of you guys, I think, are about my age. Some of you are older, some of you are definitely younger. But the book is like a wake-up call for the fact that things don't work quite right here. So I'm just going to say I'm an ACI teacher. Can you guys tell me, actually, this is interesting. I'd like to know if you could raise your hand, or if you're not on camera, just do your raise your handy icon thingy. What's it called? Emoji? How many of you have taken an ACI course before, or any kind of 100% pure Buddhist course? How many of you are brand new to Buddhism? Okay, hi Ruth. How many of you come from a DCI background? Okay, okay. So this is ACI. So it might sound different than DCI, and don't freak out. Okay, it's all the same. It's all the same. Okay, we just use some different words, and the focus is a little different. Okay, so this book, it really talks a lot about how to deal with the disasters in your life. So, for example, I'll just give you an example of a disaster I had not too long ago in my life. So I used to work in Hollywood. I worked for very famous directors and producers. I worked in Steven Spielberg's office. If you've heard of Steven Spielberg, he made like every movie in the last 40 years in America. I worked for very, very powerful people. Other than Steven, they all had one thing in common, is how depressed they were. All of them. I remember I was on a phone call once with three people who together their wealth was probably $2 billion. Three people were $2 billion. And they were just talking about how depressed they were. Okay, so it sort of proves that no matter how much you get, you can't be satisfied. None of you need to think that if I just found the right partner or the right job, or what else do people look for other than jobs and partners?
Super healthy.
Health. Oh, if I was just healthy, I would just be happy. You wouldn't be, okay, because you would want to be more healthy, or you would want a cuter partner, or beauty. Eventually, you would want the promotion. You'd be annoyed that you could only work for Steven Spielberg, that you couldn't be Steven Spielberg, okay? The end result of this life, as we're going, just taking care of ourselves is not good. You can look at where everyone you know has ended up at the end of their life. It's in the ground or it's scattered in ashes in the ocean. That's the end if we keep going the way we're going. So I had found this book, and I found some like famous producers, and we were going to turn the book into a movie, and I wasn't going to have to be like an assistant anymore, and I was going to make a lot of money, and I wouldn't have to like be someone's slave and get their coffee and get screamed at all day. People would get my coffee, and well, I wouldn't scream at people, but I could tell other people what to do for once. And we were super close. Like the movie, it's called It Got Greenlit. Like we were going to do it. And COVID came. Bye-bye movie. So just like that, you think you're going to be super successful. You think you've gotten everything you ever wanted. But the nature of this place is you'll lose it, or you'll become dissatisfied with it. So I don't have to explain much of that to you. Okay. If you're in this class, something is not quite going right for you. Okay. And then you should take those things look, I don't want to say take those things as a blessing because it's like so TikTok and Instagram BS, but you should take those things as a blessing because it gets you here and it gets you to this book. Okay. Um, so Buddhism says that dying and getting old has a cause. That there's certain energies that bring you the things in your life. And the same energies that brought me the movie and the success with the movie or my last relationship ripped the person away from me, ripped the job away from me, ripped the movie away from me. Okay. So we need to think like, what are the forces that brought us our family that we love? What are the forces that brought you your name? I changed my name. I have a new force that gave me a new name. What are the forces that brought you your face? And you have to understand because you'll lose those things. And look, I'm 48. My face is not the same face as it was when I showed up to ACI when I was 21. I have proof. There are photos of me. You can find them. I look different. I have this annoying wrinkle here. I have these weird ones here. I don't know what these ones are doing. My neck, I don't know what's happening to I like looked in my neck the other day. I'm like, whose neck is this? Okay. So all you have to do, especially if you recently turned 40 and had to get these stupid reading glasses, is look in the mirror and realize you're going to lose everything. Everything will change. Okay. So the point of this book is read this book, really study it. Don't just study it, but put it into practice and try to stop these stupid wrinkles on your neck from happening. Okay. But the ultimate wrinkles, right? The death and the dying and your family dying and your friends dying. I was thinking about it the other day. I was in the original tantric series at Diamond Mountain, and I was counting the number of people we'd lost. And I was like, oh, it was 6. And I went through their names and I'm like, maybe there was someone else. And it took me a whole day to remember one of my friends, like a good friend who had also died. And he was one of the youngest ones in the class. It doesn't always come when you're old. Sometimes, it comes when you're young. So the time to study these things and practice is now. So the point of this class and me as a teacher, I'm not into like being okay with the fact that everything sucks. Jack, you can show that picture on the PowerPoint. That's okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the point of this class is not to like be cool with the fact, sorry, AI is weird, by the way. Okay, the coffee was supposed to be spilling on her, not like levitating above her head. I don't know. She's having a really, really bad day. Like miracles are happening, but it's that the coffee poured itself on her head. But it's raining and she has a broken arm. Her phone has definitely been ruined by the water damage. Some evil force has figured out how to pour hot coffee on her head. And she's like, woo, it's a party. I love it when coffee spills on my head and my arm is broken. We're not into that, okay? The point of this class is to figure out, you can turn that off. The point of this class is to figure out how to stop, and I'm going to curse, I'm sorry, and translators, please use the curse word. The point of this class is to figure out how to stop the shitty things from happening in your life and to get to a point where they just stop happening. it's not to be, listen, someone asked me, I don't know if this woman is in this class, but someone asked me at a retreat, like last year in Japan, she said, I'm from Ukraine, and like bombs are falling on the houses around me. And every night I think I might die. And I'm really unhappy. And I feel so bad that I'm unhappy. And I feel, I'm a bad Buddhist because I'm anxious about a bomb falling on my head. And she thought that she should be the girl in that photo with the broken arm and the miraculous coffee. And I just said to her, look, you should be scared and you should be sad. What is happening to your country it's terrible. Okay. It's not okay to have your country be afflicted by war or to be from a country that's afflicting war. These things are sad. And what's happening in America now is very sad. Okay. I'm not happy about it. What we want to do is read and study this book and figure out how to change these things. Okay. So it's okay to say things are really hard right now. And then you have to go the next step and say things are also hard for other people. And then you have to go the next step and say, how can I change it for all of us? So I was telling my friends here that this is a little bit of like a downer class. Like it's a little depressing, but then it gets happy next class. So come back. I promise it'll get more cheerful. Okay. I promise it's not all, we say doom and gloom. It's not all like, I promise it'll get better. I just had to get you wanting to study the book. Okay. So we're going to talk about more depressing things for a short time. So just preparing you. Okay. So we have to recognize as Buddhists that our body is made up of like one sort of thing, right? Like you can see flesh that gets older. And then your mind is made up of something totally different. So look, even as Buddhists, most of us, let me ask you, if for you, those of you and translators, because most of you are the only ones I can see, can you show me where your mind lives? Where's your mind? Where's your mind? Flavia said I think Flavia is saying it's all around her. Oh, Daria is saying it's all around her. Olga's saying she doesn't know. Anastasia is not wanting to tell me. Natalia doesn't. Yeah, it's everywhere. Okay. But most of us really, we're all like, oh, my mind is everywhere. But look, if you say like, oh, my heart was broken. Where was your heart broken? Where do you feel the pain? Oh, my heart. Oh, my heart, right? Or where we live in South India, they say ninja, ninja, like they hear something sad. I told someone that one person I knew had passed away, and they said ninja, like, oh, compassion, oh, sadness, and they went to their heart. Like they think their mind lives in their heart organ, right? Most of us think look, fundamentally, most of us we really believe it's in our brain, okay? If you have been around a long enough time, then your mind and your brain are separate. If this is your first Dharma class, just so you know, your mind and your brain are separate, okay? Your mind rides on the brain. The brain waves show the activity of your mind. But like, I don't know, when you watch TV, the TV shows the actors, but the actors are not the TV. So it's kind of like that, okay? You need the TV to see the actors. You need that brain to display the mind, but they're not the same thing. You would never say Brad Pitt and your television are the same. Sorry, I don't know actors from other countries, but I think maybe you all know Brad Pitt. Okay, do you know Brad Pitt? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay. My friend from Taiwan here knows Brad Pitt. Good.
Feature who's the vampire.
Yeah, we all like Brad Pitt. Okay. If you don't know Brad Pitt, you can Google him. You'll like him, I promise. Okay. So Buddhism doesn't believe that the brain and the mind are the same. And in fact, there's zero evidence. And if this is a review for you, great. If it's new, great. There's zero evidence that the mind stops when the body stops. Zero. You can't prove to me that the mind stops when the brain stops. There's no proof. Oh, they stopped talking. Okay, so when you turn your TV off, Brad Pitt dies. I hope not. I'd like him. It would be so sad. So look, most of us, we do believe like that our mind stops when the brain stops. And look, most 99.9% of the world, even if you 20 people don't believe it, 99.9% of the world believes it. Okay. And you believe it, we believe it because we were told that when we were little kids. Like, I don't know, when my Nana, my great grandma died when I was 9 years old. And, it was like, well, Nana's gone because her body died. But like, I don't know, did Nana go on in some way? Like just because the body died, maybe she didn't die. But then I was told, no, she's gone. She's dead. It's finished. You'll never see her again. You can't contact her. Finished. And I believed it because I was brainwashed by my society and culture and civilization that brain dies, mind is finished. Okay. But even in our lifetimes, our civilization has gotten many things wrong. Like being gay up until very recently was illegal and is still illegal in some countries. Like gay marriage only got legalized in America, like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. That's a crazy idea. You should be able to love who you want to love. Okay. I think it wasn't until the year I was born, 1977 in America, that women were allowed to get a credit card without their husband's permission. My mother had to get my father to sign a piece of paper that said he permitted her to have a credit card. And we all thought that was okay. It's insane. So yeah, really, yes. So just 1977, not so long ago, some of you on this call might even remember 1977. Okay, so just because your culture says this is okay, or that the mind and the body are the same, it doesn't mean they're right. And as a Buddhist, you have to bring logical reasoning to everything your culture and your society are telling you. Okay, like for Americans, is it okay to deport a 5-year-old child to a country that they've never been to, where they don't speak the language? Is that okay? We have to think logically. And when you look at most of our troubles in the world right now and forever, I would say it's probably because the leaders never studied Buddhist logic. So logic is really, it's very important to try to think about these things for yourself, and even don't just believe what I'm saying. What I say in this class, you should try to dissect it and see if what I'm saying is correct. And even what Geshe Michael says, and even what Lord Buddha says, okay? So where does the mind go? It's an interesting question because we just sort of decided the mind wasn't physical. So can it travel? You have to think about what happens after you die because look, our lives are short, okay? Like the oldest people are like 107 or 108. It's the life goes very fast, okay? So infinity, which happens after you die, is infinite. Infinity is infinite. Okay, it's a long time. So you might be concerned about what's going to happen to your mind tomorrow. Like, I have this thing when I travel, I always want to know where I'm sleeping tomorrow. Like before I get off the airplane, I want to make sure I booked the hotel or I booked the Airbnb, because what if I can't find a place with a comfortable bed? Right? And I spend a lot of time trying to find a good hotel or a good Airbnb with good reviews. Okay. But we're talking about now, we're not talking about where's your body going to rest for 12 hours between layovers or something. We're talking about where is your mind going to go for infinity? So maybe it's as important or more important to think about that than to be concerned about what Airbnb I'm booking next week, right? So we can even say, like in this life, I don't know, like if you're like me and you've gone through a breakup or like a parent has died, the kind of shift that happens in your mind when you lose a pet even, or even if you've ever lost your car in a parking lot. I had a concussion a few years ago and I lost my car in Venice Beach. It was horrible, but this your mind can shift into different states of being like that. You know, you get the news that your dad has died. In my case, when I found out, I was at a teaching that Geshe Michael gave. It was a heart yoga teaching in Phoenix in 2010 in a room filled with strangers. And I got a phone call that my dad died. And the sound, like this sound, I heard this sound coming, you know, and I was like, God, what is that weird sound? Like an animal, like oh, this weird primal animal scream. And everyone's looking at me. And I'm like, why is everyone looking at me? And then I realized that sound is coming from me. And and I had like entered this like other realm of existence. So even in your own life, you can see how the mind can shift so easily. And then when you die, you don't know where you're going. So we can use this book to try to figure these things out. Okay. Um, is it possible we can go to a worse place after we die? I mean, this place seems sort of shitty, doesn't it? I mean, there's really good look, there's really good things. There's what I'm not to get you all depressed. There's wonderful things. I'm gonna be happy for a minute. There's my job in this class is actually to depress you, but I, you're all looking a little too sad, like you're never coming back. There are wonderful things in this life, okay? I'm not saying there aren't wonderful things, but we have to be a little serious and figure out where we're going next. And what the book says and what Buddhism says is like, it's not all rainbows and unicorns and butterflies necessarily in your next life. Jack, can you show the universe photo? So our own planet is massive, right? So like maybe we get reborn in a different city or a different country. I can't see it. No, it's just a black screen. Oh, yeah. It's low res. I'm sorry. No, the last one. The stars. You were just on it. Nope. There we go. Don't show them everything. Jeez. You're gonna blow my jokes. It gets happy in like 10 minutes, I swear. just wait 10 minutes. So this is like in 2025, like last summer, you should Google it, but there was a new telescope, or I don't know what they did, but something went out, and people much smarter than me sent a thing to outer space, and they took these photos. And if you see these fuzzy things, well, basically the whole photo is fuzzy, but like everything fuzzy is a galaxy. Like there's 10 million galaxies in this photo. My friends are sharing one computer. They're all kind of like trying to see the photo. There's 10 million galaxies. Like if the mind goes on, you think you're going to get reborn like in the same city. Who even knows if you'll be born in the same galaxy? And galaxies are like billions of planets. So we want to try to figure out where we're going next, and how Buddhism says that we can determine where we're going to go next. You can turn that off and stop scaring them with my scary photo. This book, the good news is this book says that we can figure out where we're going next. We can plan it, and we can actually help the people who didn't figure it out. Like my dad didn't seem to figure it out. Okay. So hopefully maybe I can become one of these people who not only can figure out where I'm going to go, but I can figure out how to go get my dad. And maybe he didn't end up in such a nice place, and I can take him to where I'm going. So this book is super cool, and I'm glad you're here. And in case you're one of those strange people who thinks like there's only one life to live, and I mean, God, just look at the picture. It's science. You don't even have to believe in Buddha. That's science. And if you don't believe in science, I can't talk to you anymore. You can stay in the class, but this is just, look at the sky and look at the stars. Go to Diamond Mountain and look at you can see the Milky Way galaxy, and that's only one galaxy, right? It's just sort of logical that you could think like, I could have been born anywhere, and maybe next time I might be born somewhere else, and maybe it won't be great. So what can I do now to ensure that I go to a really cool place? Okay. And we should also feel a sense of joy and relief and gratefulness that we got this beautiful planet. Okay, it's really messed up in some ways, really. I don't have to tell you how it's messed up, but my God, is it beautiful. And you have this body with inner channels, and we'll get into it at some point. Prana and bindus and drops and things I can't talk to you about. But you have this amazing human body that makes it possible to transform into a Buddha, which is a being who can help everyone. So we should feel very, very lucky. What our karma, which I'll explain at a later time what karma is, but what our karma has afforded us. And then we should do everything we can to not waste this incredibly precious life, excuse me, this incredibly precious life that we've been granted. Who granted us this precious life? Who do we have to thank? I can't read lips. Someone should turn on their microphone. Yeah, Olga's like sign language. That's good. Yeah. So when you're feeling depressed, which I can't imagine any of you ever feel depressed, but if you're a human who ever feels depression or sadness, just look at your body and thanks. I'm so glad I got hands instead of a paw. I mean, I live in South India now, and there are so many dogs on the street, and they get kicked, and they get chased, and things get thrown at them. And no matter how many times they seem to get kicked or chased, they still love you. And, you know, my friend Wilbur, he's a dog. I'll show you guys a picture of Wilbur next time. He's the best. He smells so bad, but he's the cutest, best thing. And I never had a dog, but he's told me he's his person. So now I sort of have a dog named Wilbur. But you know, when Wilbur looks down, he doesn't get to see a hand that can go like help people. He just sees a paw. So we should be very grateful, even when we're sad. Just look at your hand and be glad you're not Wilbur, okay? Or your own version of Wilbur. And then to be able, you know, to have this amazing mind, to be able to think straight, to be able to be creative, to be able to write, to be able to move people with the words you write or the words that come out of your mouth. That's amazing. To be able to make people laugh is amazing. You have amazing gifts. And then we should be very thankful that we have these amazing gifts, okay? But then we should also recognize, go back to that picture of those galaxies, please. Sorry, things are, no, I can't. Oh, there it is, yeah. That maybe next time, you know, you might not be so lucky. So we want to grasp on to this present moment where we're even interested in these things and have the capacity to think straight. Remember this picture, the next time you feel depressed, you could have been somewhere in that black space without a hand or a mouth to speak or a friend to comfort. You can take that away. So try to be a little happy about these things. Yeah, the picture's here, but you can take it down. My friend is helping me with the PowerPoint. I wasn't nervous to talk to you guys, but I was nervous about running a PowerPoint. So my friend is nicely, kindly running the PowerPoint. Okay. So as I said, the class is not about stress reduction. Okay. You will feel less stressed. Well, you'll feel more stressed. You'll all feel more stressed after this class. But when you come to the next class, then we'll get into the stress reduction. But the trick to the stress reduction is different probably than what you're used to hearing. Okay. The book says that you can stop old age, you can stop dying, you can stop sadness, you can stop ICE, you can stop children being taken from their parents, you can stop dictators and terrible regimes. You can stop all of it, okay? And you can stop this cycle. You can stop all the cycles, okay? It's not just the like getting old and dying and rebirth cycle that maybe some of us believe in, and maybe some of us are like, yeah, I'm not sure. But your own cycles in your own life, like it's called samsara. Everybody say samsara. Yeah, thank you for the people here who said samsara. I'm so lucky. I have friends here in the room with me to teach, so it makes me as happy. I can hear them. I'm not just teaching into the void. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, mini cycles. We call them mini cycles that we have in our own life. And you know, Geshe Michael's told this story, but we've also all lived it. You know, I'm going to tell you a mini cycle about Wilbur, my dog. Okay. So Wilbur is afraid of men who, I'm not going to go into it. He's just afraid of men. I can't go any further into it, but Wilbur is afraid of men. But if a guy like gives Wilbur a snack, then Wilbur will be his best friend. And Wilbur, his only thing he wants to do besides sleep and smell bad and not take a bath is to protect the people that he loves. Wilbur does not like angry people. He does not like angry men. And Wilbur has decided that like he has to be my bodyguard, even though I live in a very safe place. So a man came over me the other day, ironically, because he was afraid of Wilbur and started screaming at me for feeding Wilbur. And then Wilbur started to growl at this man, which made the man more scared and more angry, which made Wilbur make a special sound that he makes right before he bites someone, which made the man more angry and more scared, right? This is a samsaric cycle. This guy did the exact opposite of what, even in a mundane sense, of what he should have done, which was step back, go get a doggy treat and give it to Wilbur. But his instinct was to fight and get aggressive. So this is a samsara. This is like, we do the wrong thing, right? Like we love someone so much and like don't want to lose them, so we refuse to give them their personal space, which makes them want to run away in the opposite direction. Like you just made sure you squeezed your friend so much that they don't even want to be around you anymore. What you should have done is backed off, given them some space, but we're stuck in a samsaric loop where we are constantly doing the wrong things to get what we want. So this book will teach us how to reverse that samsara. And when you get deeper into like the secret teachings, there's something about the way the prana moves in your body and wanting to reverse that also, but I'm not going to tell you any more about that. Okay, good. I think you're all thoroughly depressed and motivated to study the book now. Okay. Geshe taught this class in 1997. It's 2026. He went on a little bit more about how everything sucks and we can never be satisfied, and everything we get, we decide we don't want anymore. But I think you're good on it now. Okay, so we're going to talk now about the actual book. I'm going to give you, that was your depressing pep talk. Now, I'm going to tell you about what we're studying. Can you put up the name of the book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see that?
No, yeah, but you're too soon. I want the name of the book. You have to go later. You have to go to Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Sorry, the picture should have been in a little bit of a different order. That's my fault. Okay, so the name of the book we're studying is Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. So normally I wouldn't have you repeat the English, but some of you are not native English speakers. And I don't know the name of the book in your language. So if you could just say Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life to yourself, that's the name of the book in English. I'm sure you all said it. So the Tibetan, and I run the overseas study program, which teaches people to learn Tibetan. So if you don't want to learn Tibetan, tough. I'm teaching you Tibetan. It's a blessing. I'm sort of kidding. It's a blessing to repeat this language that they say has no root in any other language that exists on this planet. That they say it fell out of the sky. They say the Dakinis, the angels, like the magical ladies who live in the sky that we can't see and live all around us. We'll get into it another time. that they sent this language to us. So it's a blessing, and it probably has some effect on your inner body to say the words, even if it sounds weird to you. And I showed up when I was 21, and I just did what Geshe Michael told me, which was try to write it down and repeat after him. And now I run this program, and I mean, I speak it like I'm a 7-year-old, but you know, that's still like something. So I curse you, you will all eventually learn this language, okay? You too can speak like a 7-year-old Tibetan child, okay? Okay, so the name, you just repeat after me. The name of the book in Tibetan is Changchub. Say Changchub. Sempe Chupa La Jukba. Can you guys hear my friends in the background? Oh yeah, so we're all studying in India together. We're all studying Tibetan, and these wonderful women who are with me learned to read Tibetan in it was 8 classes. So essentially in 8 days they learned to read. So I'm not so smart that like, oh, I can learn Tibetan. I'm terrible with language. I've studied like 6 languages. I still can only speak English, but the Tibetan I'm getting. So if I can do really, if I can do it, anyone can do. Okay. So just quickly, Jangchup Sempe Chupa La Jukpa. Okay. So that's the name of the book in Tibetan. So Jangchup is Buddhahood or enlightenment. Jangchup Sem means mind. So that means like bodhicitta. Changchup Sempe, Chupa is to enter, or sorry, Chupa is activity, and Jukpa is to enter or to get into something. So Jangchup Sampa is a bodhisattva. So this is, you put it together and it's guide to bodhisattva's way of life. And you can just memorize the English. If you want to do your homework, you can, and you want to try to do Tibetan track, you can just write it in the pronunciation. You don't have to write the Tibetan letters if you don't want to, but you can. It's a blessing to try to learn. And then the short name for this book is Chunjuk. Everybody say Chunjuk. It's much easier to say than Jagchup Sempe Chupala Jukpa. Okay, so Chunjuk is the short name of this book. So this book was written, next one. This book was written by Master Shanti Deva. Everybody say Shanti Deva.
Shanti Deva.
Yeah, good. So in Tibetan, it's Shiwa Fla. Everybody say Shiwa.
Shiva.
Fla. Shiwa Fla.
Shiva.
Can you go to that one? It should be the next one.
I think you're not in the PowerPoint. Yours.
I think it's more stressful for the guy running the PowerPoint. You're all waiting. It's so stressful. It's the worst. He thought he was just taking the class, and then I tortured him. Well, I'll just talk. Are you there? Okay, good. Good. Shiwa Fla. Everybody say Shiwa Fla. Yeah, good. So Shiwa means Shiwa. Just kidding. Shiwa means peace. Fla means God or like angel. So his name was Angel of Peace, and he lived like 1300 years ago. He lived around 700 AD. But what he had to say, amazingly, is still relevant to us. You can take that down for a minute. So we don't refer in Buddhism to these high beings. Like you would never, I mean, you would, but you shouldn't. We all do it. You shouldn't refer to Shanti Deva as just, I just did it. You shouldn't really do it. I'm like, don't do it. And then I immediately do it. We shouldn't be referring to our teachers or these amazing masters as Shanti Deva. If you're in the room with me, it would be helpful to not be talking. That's okay. We shouldn't refer to our teachers, like, you would never go up to Geshe-la and be like, hey, Mike, that would be bad. So it's the same thing with Master Shantideva. We want to say Master Shantideva. We don't want to just be like that dude who wrote the book Shantideva. So in Buddhism, angel, like, I grew up Jewish and we didn't have angels. But in Christianity, I know, like, in a lot of the churches, they look like these cute, the angels are like kind of fat and they're babies and they're like mostly naked. It's different in Buddhism. I will slow down. Yes. Thank you. I was doing okay for a minute, I think. So in Buddhism, it's different. Angel is like a place where your body and your mind have transformed because of the love and the wisdom that you hold. And then the prana and the forces inside your body, they're currently forcing you to see like a body that gets wrinkles and gets older. And we say that through working on our minds and our understanding of emptiness and through purification and love, which we will talk about extensively in future classes, that you can change the process of how your body is getting older, and you can turn into angel or Buddha or whatever kind of word resonates with you. And so they just start off like Master Shantideva's name is like enlightened peaceful guy or Buddha peaceful guy or angel peaceful, angel of peace. Really, his name is Angel of Peace. So that's like quite amazing. And it gives you a hint of the kind of being that we're taking the class from, that we're studying the book from, okay? Okay. Geshe-la also said that if like the inner body changes, and when these beings look at themselves in the mirror, they see a certain kind of being, but someone else who looks at them might just see a regular person. Why is that? Why, like, how is it possible that a person can see themselves one way, but other people might see them a different way? Can anyone tell me why how that's possible? Yeah. Yeah, good. 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 Good, yeah. So Geshe-la didn't talk about it in this class, but I'm going to, because there's new people who have never heard this and who don't know Buddhism. And in case I depressed you too much and you never come back, you should hear it at least once in your life. So what is this thing? Oh, that's right. None of you are going to talk to me. What is this thing? It's a pencil. Yeah. Good job. Good, good. It's a pencil. If Wilbur walked into the room, what would Wilbur do with this thing? He'd be like super cute and his ears would be flapping, and I really want you guys to meet Wilbur. I wanted him to come to class today, but technically I'm not allowed to have him in my house. I'm trying to follow rules better. Okay. Wilbur would chew on the pencil. The pencil. Wilbur would chew on this thing, okay? If I leave the room and Wilbur leaves the room, what is this thing? Is it something to write with, or is it something to chew on? Chew toy or pencil? Well, you're all saying I don't know, but you all know the answer.
Nothing.
What was that?
Nothing. It's
Yeah,
empty.
thank you. Yeah, good. It's nothing, right? Like, it doesn't become a pencil. It doesn't become pencil, and it doesn't become chew toy until there's a being to perceive it. Okay, so that's it. That's emptiness. okay? If this was pencil from its own side, Wilbur would be writing, he doesn't have a girlfriend, okay? Most of the other dogs actually don't like him. But if this was a pencil from his own side, Wilbur would write this and he would write a note to all the dogs in the town and he would say, please be my friend. Please, I'm lonely. These humans don't feed me enough. Please share your food with me, okay? But he doesn't do that because to him, it's, I know Olga loves dogs, so she's very happy about Wilbur. If this was a pencil from its own side, Wilbur would be writing a letter, or I would be like seeing this, and or you'd all be like, ooh, dinner. You'd see this and you would think, dinner. Okay. The fact that two different types of beings, frankly, in two different realms, are able to look at one object and perceive it as something completely different is a proof for what we call emptiness. Okay. It proves that the pencil or the chew toy is not coming this way. Okay. It's coming this way. That applies to everything in your life, including this thing. Look, they're even, it's so convenient because they're like the same shape. Okay, so this thing is like this thing. Don't think in your life, stop thinking that this thing and this thing are different. Because really, you believe the pen thing. You've heard it 1,000 times. You really know, oh, chew toy pen, I get it. And I can show Wilbur and I can see him chew on it. But you probably never in your whole life saw someone look at this arm and see it as like Manjushri's flaming sword. If you did, God bless, you do not need this class. You can teach the class. Okay. But if you didn't have that happen, then I don't know that you necessarily really believe that this thing and this thing are the same. And you need to start thinking that way. Okay. You maybe for a little while, don't tell Geshe Michael, I'll get in trouble. No, I'm kidding. You can tell Geshe Michael, it's fine. Maybe for a little while, stop thinking about the emptiness of the pen and start thinking about the emptiness of the arm. Okay. And that's how someone could look in the mirror and see like themselves as an angel and someone else just sees them as Wilbur, or someone else just sees them as their friend or their husband, or God, that really annoying person in class. Okay. And maybe like the most annoying person is most likely to be the special being. Something to think about. Okay. Okay. So okay, so this book was written 1,300 years ago, and it's hard to read a book written 1,300 years ago. Like, oh, I was a theater major, and I don't know when Shakespeare lived, so that's embarrassing. Maybe like the 1500s or 1600s, I think, but very hard to read Shakespeare. Even like I studied him at university, very difficult to read him, and he's only 500 years ago. Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life was 1,300 years ago, in a different language. Very difficult to read in the like by itself. So we have a commentary. Jack, you want to show? So the commentary was written by someone named Gyaltsab. Everybody say Gyaltsab. Gyaltsab. His name was Gyaltsab Dharma Rinchen was his monk's name. Everybody say Dharma Rinchen. This is a different, I think, I didn't have time, I'm sorry, I'll look it up, but I don't think this is the same Dharma as what we're used to, Dharma meaning Buddhism. Dharma is a Sanskrit word, actually the Tibetan for Dharma is Cha. So I have to look up what Dharma actually means, but Rinchen means like precious jewels or great jewels. So he wrote the commentary and he was a student of Jetson Kappa. Everybody say Jetson Kappa. Jetson Kappa. And Jetson Kappa founded the lineage that we study, which is called Gelugpa. There are 4, and sometimes they say 5 different sects of Tibetan Buddhism, which we study, and we study the newest one called Gelugpa, which was founded by Jetson Kappa. Okay, you can take that down. Okay, so this is, you guys can relax. This is free time. Let's all have a drink of water. And thank you, translators, very much. And thank you to everyone recording and to the admins and everyone helping with this course. I really, really appreciate your time. Okay. Translators, breathe. You can't breathe if you're translating, just breathe. Okay. These old ACI courses, they're a lot. I know they're a lot. It's different than the way we present things now generally, but I'm old school because I got the teachings starting in 1998. So so I sort of dive a little deep. So just, you can relax. It's okay. We'll do a little story time now. Okay, so Master Shanti Deva. Oh, I should give you the name of the commentary. Sorry. It's called Entry Point for the Children of the Victorious Buddhas. Entry point, and I was going to give you the Tibetan, but I think it's too much. So it's just Entry Point for the Children of the Victorious Buddhas. And anyone who wants the Tibetan in the Tibetan letters, you can message me on the chat and I can send you my notes. Actually, if anyone wants my notes, you can have them, just message me on the chat. It's not like verbatim what I say in class, but you'll get the gist of it. But don't tell me in this chat, tell me, oh, you might be from a country without Telegram. Jack, can you keep track of anybody? Yeah, great. Okay. The irony of this class is called Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, and I'm not going to tell you what Bodhisattva means. You have to come back next class. Okay. So, Master Shantideva was born near Bodh Gaya, which is in Northeast India. I was in Bodh Gaya 2 months ago. It's the place where the Buddha got enlightened. It's an incredibly holy place. It's unbelievable. It's amazing. It's also a very hard place to visit. It's very dirty and polluted, and there's like hungry, barefoot street children. Sometimes these holy places and terrible places come together. So he was born near Bodh Gaya, and he was born to a royal family. He was a prince, which means a lot, okay? Because in the old days, a king owned everything. Like the king owned your house, the king owned you didn't have a car, the king owned your horse, the king owned your wife, the king owned your kids. So if the king came over and said, oh, your kid is cute, he's mine now, that's it. So that was the kind of family that Master Shantideva was born into. He was a very spiritual child. At the age of 6, he was given a sadhana to reach Manjushri. So everybody say sadhana. Sadhana. I don't see your mouth moving. Sadhana. I can see you. Good. Thank you. I always thought if I had a kid, I would call them sadhana because it's such a cool word. So sadhana means it means to reach the angel and to become the angel. So a sadhana is a type of practice you do so that you yourself become well, first you reach the enlightened being and you get them to teach you like in person, like at your house. And then they teach you how to become like them. So sadhana means to reach them, reach out, get them on the phone, hopefully get them to come to your house. And then they teach you to become like them in person, which is like better than just having to read it out of a book, right? Okay, so when Master Shantideva got older, his father died and everyone begged him to become king. He had this like crazy karma, like where people just loved him and wanted him to be their king. Okay. Not like today where no one wants the person running. No one really wants the guy running for president, and no one really wants like the current king. Different times. So the day before he was supposed to be like not elected, but to get the coronation, he had a dream that Manjushri was sitting on a throne, on the throne, like on his own father's throne. And Master Shantideva was trying to get up on the throne to become king. And Manjushri said, "You can't sit here. I'm sitting here. Your teacher is sitting here. You can't sit in your teacher's seat." And in the Diamond Way teachings, it's very, very, very improper to sit where your teacher sits. Like if your teacher's holy body touches something, that's theirs now. And you wouldn't want to like take their seat. So so he took it as a sign that he shouldn't become king, and he ran away from the palace. He just peaced out and said, "I'm out of here. Bye." He didn't actually tell anyone. He just left. The day he was supposed to become the boss of the whole kingdom, he left. And then he found Nalanda University, which is quite close to Bodh Gaya. Jack, can you show that photo? So I got to go to Nalanda University, or what's left of Nalanda University. And this is a photo I took in November. It was unfortunately destroyed, but it was a massive center of learning. I won't go too into it, but you can Google it. But it was an incredible center of learning. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of monks trained there, including Naropa, Master Chandrakirti, Nagarjuna was there. Like all the cool dudes were at Nalanda. So he went to Nalanda. You can take it down. He went to Nalanda and began studying there and became a monk. And as soon as he started studying, he understood everything immediately. He had this incredible power to understand all the Dharma at once. But he never let anyone know that he was a great master. He kept it secret. And in fact, he kept it so secret that he was given a special name called Busuku. And the Tibetan for Busuku is Dushe Sumbawa. Everybody say Dushe Sumbawa. Dushe Sumbawa. So Dushe Sumbawa means Mr. Three Thoughts. What are the three thoughts, you may ask? The three thoughts are eating, sleeping, and for $100, just kidding, I'm a poor Dharma student. For $0, pooping. I found this guy on AI. I thought he was really funny. I thought he'd make so good. If he made you laugh, good. Yeah, let's see him again. There he is. That's what he looked like to all the people at Nalanda. This guy was a fully enlightened being, okay? You don't know who's who. You think you know, you don't know. Could be this guy. Actually, first they made him with a beer can, and I told AI they had to remove the beer can. But the point is, we don't know who anyone is. We really don't. Not only that, but these great bodhisattvas, they're good fakers. Sometimes what you want and what you need are not the same. So stop thinking that everyone who's nice to you is a bodhisattva. Maybe it's that I was going to curse. I'm trying to use it sparingly. Maybe it's the not nice people who are the bodhisattvas. You don't know. Show that picture one more time. When you think of Master Shantideva, I want you to think of this guy. Okay? You don't know who's who. Okay, you can take Mr. Three Thoughts down. Okay. So so the monks really wanted him out. Like half the monks at Nalanda were psychic and they knew who he was, but half the monks couldn't tell who he was and thought all he did, like I said, was eat, sleep, and poop. So they wanted to get him out of the monastery. So they asked him to teach because they thought that would embarrass him and he would leave. But surprisingly, Mr. Three Thoughts showed up at the temple in front of thousands of monks. They made the throne, the teaching throne, so tall that there was no way for him to get up to the top of the throne. And they didn't give him any stairs. But when Mr. Three Thoughts walked into the temple, he put his hand on the throne and immediately was seated at the top. So he asks if he should recite, I mean, this is the part that gets me, okay? He asks if he should recite a sutra or if he should, tell them, share something that he's just like an original story or an original teaching. And because they want to embarrass him, they say, give us the original one. But they've just witnessed a miracle and they still think he's like this loser. So I don't know who these guys were. Anyway, so then he recites Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And he gets to the 9th chapter, which is all about emptiness. And it's so difficult that he starts to rise up out of his seat, like he's levitating. And they say that his mind and his space, his mind became so vast by teaching this incredible emptiness that like his mind and space were competing for room with each other. And he started to disappear. And then there were some monks who could read people's minds, and they also had they had the power of total recollection. They could remember everything they heard. So they were memorizing this amazing teaching on emptiness, and they could hear Master Shantideva even though he had disappeared because they had this clairvoyance. And then he's just gone. And then all the monks who had clairvoyance and recall got together and were trying to put together what he said. And there was this debate, were there 9 chapters? Were there 10 chapters? And they couldn't find Master Shantideva anywhere. He had disappeared. And then finally, a delegation of monks who had clairvoyance were able to find him in South India. And they begged him to come back to the monastery and teach. And he said, nah, I got other stuff to do. But I do have 2 other books that I wrote. So if you want those, they're hidden in the ceiling of my room. You can show those words. And then he also taught them the entire book. He taught them the emptiness chapter and he taught them the dedication. And then the names of those books in Sanskrit, it's Shiksha, say Shiksha,
Shiksha,
Samuchaya,
Samchaya,
and the other one is Sutra,
Sutra,
Samuchaya,
Samchaya,
and in Tibetan it's Lapa, Punle, Tupa, and the other one is Dokun, Letu, Pa, Letupa, 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 Dokun Letupa. You guys can just take a picture or do a screenshot because it's a lot to write down. So then, you can take that down. So, oh, can you show the miracle picture? With the glowing tummy. Yeah, show the other picture. The first one of him. Yeah, that's Mr. Three Thoughts. That's who they thought was teaching, who was going to give the teaching. Now change. Then that's what they saw when they got the teaching. I don't know why this guy is giving a peace symbol. Like, this is what AI decided it was like at Nalanda. Uh, but I thought this was like a miracle. I asked AI to show me Master Shanti Deva as Busuku, and this is who they gave me. So I thought it was inspiring. Okay, you can take it down. So Master Shanti Deva continued to meditate, and then he realized there were people who needed him, and that through his clairvoyance, he could figure out who these people were. So like if people were hungry, he would go and do a miracle to give them food and then teach them Dharma. Or if there was a war, he would go and settle the dispute so people would stop fighting and then teach them Dharma. This is all in the reading, so I won't go too much into it. But like there was one where he defeated someone through logic, and then they started casting spells on him, and then Shanti Deva started doing magic spells, and it was this whole competition. And of course, Master Shanti Deva out-magicked him. But that was like his life, and that's I think all we know about him. But you can read in the reading, and I think it's nice with the AI to kind of picture what he really looked like. Because these people, you know, these writers, we think of them as like fairy tale characters, but if you can find some photos that resonate with you, then you can realize, well, if they could do it, then you can do it too. So the lesson about Master Shanti Deva, he did his bodhisattva activity, his angel warrior activity in secret. He wasn't running around telling everyone he had these miracle powers. You know, we all know that Dharma student. You all have your own. I don't know who I'm not talking about a particular one, by the way. Everyone has their own special person, that special Dharma student or friend who, like, they're just telling you all the time about the wonderful things they're doing. And it gets a little like, it stops being so magical and special at a certain point, and maybe almost gets like a little annoying. We don't want to be that person, okay? It's nice to share what you're doing sometimes so people can rejoice, but there's a power, really, and sometimes as a teacher, you brag about the things you're doing to help others because it inspires your students. I'm not telling you don't try to inspire people. It's about your motivation, okay? But sometimes we talk about the good things we do to help others because we want people to like us. So that motivation, you should, if that's your motivation, keep it secret. And sometimes keeping it secret makes it more powerful. And I didn't say don't ever talk about your good deeds. I didn't say that. I said, watch your motivation about why you're sharing. And certain things you should keep secret because it makes it more powerful. But also, don't be that annoying person who's like, you, it's so good. I did so many good things, but I'm not gonna tell you. That's also annoying. Okay, use your common sense about it. Okay, but no one knew that Master Shanti Deva was a bodhisattva, and so throughout like the next week, you should be looking around. Who's a bodhisattva? Could that person be a bodhisattva? Like, did that person do something that maybe seemed a little special? God, they were so annoying. They annoyed me so much and forced me to work on my patients so much. definitely a bodhisattva. So this, before the next class, I know you have homework. This is your other homework. I want you to every day look around and see who might be a bodhisattva. Okay? So you don't have to make any big changes in your life to do these practices, okay? These are practices, kindness and love and serving other people. You do it at work, at your house, at the cafe you hang out with. You try to practice it on the street dogs around you, okay? You try to do it at the supermarket. Try to take any opportunity you can. And well, I'll just haven't described what you have to do. That's next class. But use your imagination and try to practice kindness anywhere you are. Really, anywhere. As long as you're not in quarantine by yourself, you have opportunities to practice kindness, okay? Oh, I talked too much and we have so much more to go. Okay. As Geshe-la says, let's do a horse race. Yay. Okay, can you put up the PowerPoint? So this is technical stuff. We're just going to go through the chapters in the book so you know what's going to come next. So the first, and like I said, if you want the Tibetan or you want my notes, I'll send them to you. So don't worry about writing everything down. So the first chapter in the book, it's called Benefits for the Wish for Enlightenment. The benefits of the wish for enlightenment. So you don't have to repeat after me or you'll never get to go to work or home or sleep. Janchup Senki Penyin Shepa. So Janchup means enlightenment, or sorry, Janchup Sem is bodhicitta. And then Penyin is benefits of. So benefits of enlightenment or benefits of bodhicitta. This is the first chapter. Okay. So that's the like pep talk to get you excited for becoming becoming an enlightened being. Okay, next. I'm going to become an enlightenment. Maybe. Okay, the second chapter is Dikpa Shakpa. What? Did you say Dikpa Shakpa? Yeah, okay. So that means to purify bad deeds. So in order to collect all sorts of great merit, you need to clean your mind. Because our mind is filled with crap. We yell at people, we get annoyed with people, we lose our patience with people, we get tired in Dharma class, we wish you would stop talking so we could eat dinner, we want to be a bodhisattva, but God, please, can I go home and go to bed? So we need to clean our minds. I know it's hard to be in Dharma class, okay? I go to Dharma class too. So we're going to learn how to clean our minds. It's amazing. It's an inside bath. It's a bath, but for your insides. Okay. That's like super important and will change your entire life. So if you come to nothing else, come to the class on how to purify your bad deeds. Okay. And even if you think probably we can go a little deeper. Okay. The third chapter is called Developing the State of Mind of a Bodhisattva. Janchup Ki Sem Yongsu Sungwa. Developing the mind of a bodhisattva. So this also refers to the bodhisattva vow ceremony, which some of you, can you take that down for a sec so I can see? I'm just curious. Can you guys raise your hands virtually or with your emojis or real if you have bodhisattva vows? Okay, everyone I can see has a bodhisattva vows. Yay. Okay. So that chapter also gives tricks for, you can put the thingy back on. That also teaches tricks for collecting good karma. And there's special meditations in that chapter for drawing in like good spiritual energy. Okay, chapter 4 is called To Do Something with Great Care, and that's in Tibetan Pakyu Tempa. Yeah, so you'll see the word Tenpa a lot, and it means chapter. So this means to do something with great care. So once you learn how to think and act like a bodhisattva, you have to take great care with your baby bodhisattva mind to make sure it doesn't get ruined. Like you don't want to just go and like lose your temper. Like you take your bodhisattva vows and then someone cuts you off in traffic and you give them a big like one of these. You don't want that. This chapter teaches you how to put your finger back down when the guy cuts you off in traffic. Okay. Then chapter 5 is called Guarding Awareness and Recollection. Guarding Awareness and Recollection. So the Tibetan for that is Sheishin Sungwa. Sheishin Sungwa. Sungwa is to protect, and Sheishin means awareness. The word for recollection is not in here. So this is the state of mind that catches you. Sheishin is the state of mind that catches you when you lose your object in meditation. It's the alarm bell. Okay. Sometimes it's like the worst. Sometimes it takes 30 minutes for the alarm bell to go off. Like you've been daydreaming about whatever, like work or the guy you like, or all the things you have to do after your meditation. That's my specialty. You've been daydreaming for 30 minutes about what to do after your meditation before the alarm bell goes off. This chapter teaches you how to get the alarm bell to go off sooner. And then it also teaches you jumba, which means recollection, so that you can actually, once the alarm bell goes off, you can actually remember what you were supposed to be meditating on to begin with. Okay, chapter 6. This is all supposed to get you, it's not just like an annoying list, okay? It's supposed to get you excited for what we're gonna learn this course. So number 6 is called Supa Temba. So that's the art of not getting angry when the time comes. So that's the art of not flipping the guy off in traffic, of not getting angry at your husband when he does that annoying thing for the 50th time that you please asked him to stop doing. This is not screaming at your children. This is not getting angry with yourself because you're too tired to do any more Dharma activity. All sorts of anger. This is to teach you to stop it. And maybe we all need that. I know I do. Okay, number 7. We're almost done, I promise. Number 7 is called Sundru Temba. Sundru Temba. So this is having a good time doing good things. This means like you're teaching a Dharma class and you're willing to teach for 5 hours instead of 1.5 hours, or you're, I don't know, we have to do a lot of fundraising for our program because we give scholarships to students to come study with us in India. And we do a lot of work to raise the money. So Tsundru would be the quality you need to raise the money for a project that no one has ever heard of. The joyful effort that comes with working really hard to help other people, especially when no one's ever heard of you or what you're doing, okay? So that's Sundru. And we all know people who get like super excited to help. And we all know people who, when we say it's time to help, I don't know how they get out of the room so fast, but they're out really fast. Or like, it's like somehow when you're like, can I have a volunteer? It's so weird. It's like their arms get paralyzed. You're like, can I have a volunteer? Raise your hand. And suddenly like their shoulders don't work anymore. That's the opposite of Sundru. We're gonna learn to raise our arm faster. Good. Okay. I know you want to. Okay. Okay, the next one is chapter 8. There's only 10. We're almost done. This chapter is called The Ability to Meditate Deeply. The Tibetan is Samchen Tenba. What does Tenba mean? What's Tenba? It keeps showing up in all the chapters. The word Tenba keeps showing up. Tenba shows up in every chapter. It means chapter. Maybe it's your first Tibetan word. Good job. Okay, good. So that's evident. This is referring to especially how to meditate to see emptiness directly. We will also talk about that in this book. Okay. The next one, chapter 9, which is the one where he started floating away, is called Sherab Kilu. This is where they decided to use a different word for chapter. And this just means wisdom. Sherab means wisdom. So this is pertaining especially to emptiness, which is the thing about Wilbur and the pencil. Okay, and then the 10th chapter, the last chapter, we're almost done, is Ngoe Lu. Tibetan's a little hard for Americans to pronounce because it has different tones and sounds that we don't have. Ngoe Lu. So Ngoa is to dedicate. So this is the act of dedication, and I'm really excited to teach you guys about dedication because you cannot cement a seed without dedication, period. And if you want to know why good things happen, good things happen to bad people. I want to know that too. But more importantly, if you want to know why bad things happen to good people, it's because they don't know how to dedicate. A very big part of it, they do not know how to dedicate a deed. We're going to learn about it in the 10th chapter, and it's one of the most beautiful translations. I would say it's the most beautiful translation I ever read from Geshe Michael, really. And I've read most of his translations. It's unbelievable. And maybe if we have time at the end of the course, we can do the dedication together. It's a little long, but it is stunningly beautiful. And it's something you can practice every day for the rest of your life if you have the time. Maybe it takes 20 minutes. And we'll teach you how to dedicate the good things you're doing. You can take the thing down. So really, like most of us, even non-Buddhists, but especially if you're in this class, and I know some of you have children or parents you're taking care of, or you're just, you're constantly doing things to help other people. But it's just natural for you. You don't really, you're a good person, so you just don't think about it. And unfortunately, what that means is the seeds don't grow so fast and they don't grow so strongly. So the dedication, really learning how to dedicate a deed is incredibly important. And I have this very strange, I have a lot of bad, annoying seeds in my life, but am I frozen? Oh, no, now I see people moving. Okay. But one really good seed I have in my life is I always have access to teachers. Always. And from the time I was 21, when I first learned a deed, I started everything being close to my teachers, and I am. So I can say over the course of, I'm not a new student, okay? I'm not like, I practiced this for 6 weeks and my whole life changed. I'm looking at it over 27 years of a life. And I can tell you that dedication works. Maybe I should have dedicated it to like a nicer car. So my car is kind of messed up. I shouldn't have, that's a joke. But I was very certain and clear about what, like, if you saw my car, you would know what I was talking about. But about I was very clear about what my priorities were in this life and how I thought I could reach those goals. And I knew that it was to find good teachers and to stay close to them. And I have unbelievable Lama karma. And I can tell you it's from the dedicating. So you should stick around. Unfortunately, it's in the 10th chapter. This is my pitch for this class. And learn how to really dedicate a deed. And I'm not good at like so many things in Buddhism, but I'm goddamn good at dedicating. So stick around, okay? And then just very quickly, very quickly, I know I've kept you guys. Okay, I've only gone 5 minutes over, which is a miracle for me. Oh my gosh, I love to talk, so this is a miracle. So Master Shanti Deva, do you guys know the 6 perfections? Anyone know the 6 if you know the 6 perfections, raise your hand. Don't nod at me. Raise your hand if you know the 6 perfections. Really? Fascinating. Okay. Okay, thank you. Just what? Maybe half of you, and if you're in the dark, I'm gonna assume you don't know them. Too bad. Okay. So very quickly, the 6 perfections, giving, or Geshe-la now he likes to translate it as sharing. These are things we're gonna learn how to do in this course, okay? So giving or sharing, ethics or morality, like, excuse me, I'm gonna curse, how to not be an asshole, okay? Like things that are just common sense to like most people, but not everyone learned to be a person, how to be a decent human being and keep your ethics, okay? The 3rd chapter, or sorry, not the 3rd chapter, but the 3rd perfection is the art of not getting angry when someone pisses you off. The 4th one is joyful effort. The 5th one is meditation or concentration. And the last one is wisdom or understanding emptiness. They all appear in the book. So we're going to get a good education on the perfections. And I think there's a homework question. Sorry, so I'd like to let you go, but I have to give you the homework. What chapters do these perfections appear in? So I'm going to leave giving for last because it's a trick question. But ethics, does anyone know what chapter ethics would appear in? It's 5. It's recollection and awareness. That was actually the trick question. I give you the trick one first. Okay. So recollection and awareness is in ethics shows up in the chapter on recollection and awareness, because if you can't recall that you're supposed to be a good person, you might do some not so nice things. You might forget, oh, I have bodhisattva vows. I can't I can't leave the toilet seat wet for the next person. Even though I feel really lazy right now, I actually have to dry it for the next person because I made a vow. Okay. Giving is in chapter 10 on dedication, which you might not guess because you haven't read the chapter, so you don't know, but it's in chapter 10 because you're giving your good seeds away to other people when you dedicate. And that's why giving goes in that chapter. Okay. Chapter 6 is obvious. It's about not getting angry. Chapter 7 is obvious. It's about joyful effort. Surprisingly, chapter 8, which is the chapter on meditation, is about meditation. And you'll never guess, but chapter 9 about wisdom is about wisdom. It's about, so the homework questions aren't so hard, okay? I personally, I don't care if you do the homework or not. I'm not supposed to say that. I know it. I just want you to review the course, okay? And the whole point of doing the homeworks is to review. And your lives are busy. And I suspect if you don't do your homework, you will not look at these notes that you so carefully took until the next class. And then you'll be like, I was supposed to study. So it's good to do I told you you don't have to do your homework, but you should do it because it forces you to review. Okay. It doesn't matter what grade you get. I personally, if you show up, you get 100 on your homework. You already got an A for today's class. You already got 100 on homework 1 and on quiz 1. Congratulations, just for showing up. But try to at least look at the homework so that you review and remember, because our attention spans are very short these days. So just, one night, instead of scrolling Instagram or TikTok or whatever platform is your poison, look at your homework instead. Can you guys just say you'll do it? Just one night. You just only have to give it up for like 1 hour, 30 minutes. You don't even have to give up TikTok and Instagram for the whole night. Just 30 minutes less. 30 minutes of the 2 hours that you spend scrolling before you go to bed. Just give it to this homework. Someone nod their head and I will let you go. Someone on the screen, nod your head. Someone who is not Flavia translating for me. Thank you, Lee. Lee is the reason you get to go home tonight. Oh, you are home. Lee is the reason you get to log off a class. Okay. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you come back. The course really gets really fun and it will change your life. And it's, I think, really like I really think it's like the greatest book ever written. And it's a manual for how to get rid of, really, it's a manual not only for how to get enlightened, which is something we don't even know what it means, but it's a manual for getting over depression and getting rid of your anger. And it's a manual for your self-esteem also. So not to sound all cheesy, but it's the manual to become the person that you wanted to be that you haven't become yet. So I hope I see you again. And again, thank you for translators for translating. And we can just do 1 short minute. It'll be silent, but just 1 short minute. You can think about the good deeds we've done. And you can close your eyes. And just for like 30 seconds or something, think of this, listening to this Dharma as a ball of light. And send it out from your heart. You can send it to all the people who've been victims of war or difficult things this week. And let it wrap around them and fix their bruises and fix their sad minds and give them all the things they want. Okay, thank you guys. See you on what day? Monday? When do I see them? Monday, right? I think it's Monday. I hope it's Monday. I'll be here. I hope you're here. It's Monday, right? Yeah.
One day.
Okay. See you. Oh, I'm gonna make a heart like Flavia. And really, if you have questions, you can contact me on the chat, or if it's private, I'll put my email and you can email me. Okay. See you.